Thank you guys for checking out my video. Today we're going to be talking about the 2 best landing spots that I've found for Fortnite Zero build in Chapter 3 Season 2. Granted, this may be very different for build. If you're looking for build tips, unfortunately I can't help you out with that. But if you're looking for Zero build tips, I've found that these areas are the best for what I'm looking for, and I'll go into the details as to why. First off is going to be the loot. Landing, there's a lot of guns out in the open. You don't have to open a chest for quick engagements. This area typically is very hot, so the fighting starts quick. Another reason why that I like it. You can rack up quite a few kills in the beginning, but finding that gun is going to be really important because of the area. There's not a lot of high ground. There's a couple buildings, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of cover and obstacles. So most of the fighting is going to be close quarters. So finding that shotgun, fighting an SMG quickly is going to be very vital. It should be easy to find shields. There's a couple coolers. There's a couple of the drums that you can break that you can get the shields from. And there is quite a lot of chests throughout the different buildings. So once you clear out, you should be fully loaded. The other thing that I like is, at least in this season, is there is an NPC that you can buy a Ranger shotgun for down by the cornfields that helps speed things up in case you're in a pinch and you need to get a shotgun really quick. The other part is there's a lot of cover, so if for some reason you get beat to a weapon, you can escape and kind of reposition really quickly. You're not going to be out in the open and kind of screwed if you aren't able to find a gun very quickly. The next reason I really like this spot, I always pick spots that have bounties because I like going after bounties and getting additional kills, and it kind of helps you figure out the next direction you want to go as far as where enemies may be. So there is a bounty downstairs in the basement of the middle house. After that, once you clear the area, your transition path is pretty easy. You can either go through Sanctuary or Condo Canyon, depending on where the circle is. This allows you a lot of freedom to kind of take whichever path you want. I found a lot of success going through the different paths. You usually do encounter people along the way because you will be passing a couple other points of interest. So this allows you to kind of rack up kills. There's another area to point out. There is a gas station nearby, so if you wanted to go to the upgrade bench, upgrade your guns, if you needed a quick vehicle, anything like that, there is a gas station right nearby, which is helpful. All right, so what are some of the reasons that you might not want to land here, or some of the risks of landing here? The first one is going to really be, there's a lot of trees here. So when you're landing, be careful not to land on top of the tree. That's happened to me before. You may take fall damage. If that happens to you, see if you can find a nearby rooftop you can jump off, or maybe catch the zip. That way you can break your fall. Like I said before, this typically is a hot area. So if you're looking for a more quiet starting point, I don't recommend landing there. It usually always has quite a few enemies in the beginning. Another risk is if your close quarters combat is not great, this might not be the best spot because you don't have a lot of long viewpoints for long range fights. Because of all the cover, you're probably going to be fighting close range for the most part in the beginning. So if you prefer kind of the long distance fighting, then the Joneses would not be ideal. But overall, I found a lot of success landing here. I really like it. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. If you guys also have this as one of your favorite spots to land, what are the reasons that you like it, or what are the reasons you don't like landing there? All right, next, so we're going to talk about Camp Cuddle. I really like this spot because there's a variety of areas that you can drop. I prefer to always drop on the top house. A couple reasons, because high ground is king in Fortnite Zero build. So having the high ground is super important. If you can take that top house, you can see all around you, including the middle island, the big house next to you, the 3 small houses, and that other house straight across. It gives you a big vantage point. There's a couple zip lines that allows you to get to different areas really quickly, including the middle island and toward the gas station. As far as the loot, I really like that there's coolers so you can stack up on shields really quick. There's always a few chests in there. You should be able to loot even up to maybe trios. You could find enough loot for all 3 of you. There's chests hidden in the walls usually, also in the attics, things like that. So always listen to where the chest may be. There's a couple hidden ones, but you should be able to find quite a bit of loot in there. This can get hot. I will warn you, sometimes there will be a couple people that land directly on that top house, so always be ready for a quick fight. There's usually guns outside that aren't even in chests, so you can do a quick pickup. Then once you clear that house, you can either take a look at the island or the houses below to kind of see where people are. If you're able to get a burst gun, which I usually like to do, I can start picking off people from up above on the hill and don't even have to drop down for quite a while. Once I feel that that lower area is safe, I like to go straight down, collect the bounty, take a look and see if they're nearby, see if I can find a couple more kills, and then continue to loot in the area. But like I said, that whole area has quite a lot of coolers, so finding shields, chug splashes, your loot should be full anytime you leave Camp Cuddle. The other cool thing is that some of the NPCs have shockwaves, so check in the middle house. If the NPC is in the middle house, they usually sell shockwaves, at least for this season. So that's always very helpful. That way you can kind of start off with high mobility. If you need to, you can always drop down to the gas station. There's an upgrade station there. Just be cautious. There is an NPC tank that patrols that area, so you want to kind of take a look out for that. But there's a lot of ammo in the house. There shouldn't be really a problem with loot if you're able to clear that area. The next part I like about Camp Cuddle is the transition path. I typically don't go toward Command Cavern unless the circle is pushing me that way, but I always end up going toward Tilted. It's usually pretty clear, but what it allows you to do is you'll go upriver, you can find more loot, and then if you need to cross really quickly past Tilted, you can take the cannons and shoot yourself over rather than having to walk really far. This allows you to kind of speed up your movement if the circle's on the opposite side. If you don't have to go very far, then you can take your time and kind of continue to loot within the area. A couple risks that you have of landing here is it can be very hot. Because that top house is the most valuable, you often are challenged. You may see one or two people that try to push you in that house or try to land. The good thing is they have guns on the outside, so you don't have to get a chest or anything. You should be able to grab a gun pretty quick and hopefully win that initial gunfight. Another risk you would have is going to be the NPC tank. I've seen players sometimes take it, so they may take a tank in there. You do have a couple areas that people can come in, so if you are in that top house, just be aware of the zip lines. Just listen. They're usually pretty loud, but if people do come up, they can come up the zips from the middle island or the gas station side. There's also a porta potty that will take you from the middle island to the house across from the top house. Those two can kind of throw you off if you're not paying attention and people need to move quickly. I've used it to my advantage, and it helps you fast travel if you need to. As always, this is just my opinion. This is my experience. I've had a lot of success landing in these two areas. I think the bigger key is to get comfortable with at least two areas on the map that you know the back of the hand. You know exactly where to look for everything. You know the best angles. You know the best spots. That way you feel comfortable whenever you're fighting any different situation. If it's a lot of people, if just a couple people, it's better than just randomly landing at different spots. It's good to find at least two spots that you're very comfortable, ideally on different areas of the map. That way, if the pathway is significantly different, you still have a second option. That way you don't have to drop all the way across the map just because it's your favorite spot. So that's kind of why I like the Joneses and Camp Cuddle, because they're on opposite sides of the map, so it gives me different options. They also both kind of have different features, different styles of play. So if I feel like, I want to go into an area that doesn't have a lot of high ground, more close combat, I'll go to the Joneses. If I want to go with more long range encounters, Camp Cuddle. Let me know what you think about these spots. I'm sure everyone has different opinions, and it's also going to be your focus and how you want to play, different play styles, everything. I think it's very unique. I think no spot necessarily is bad. It's just going to depend on what you're looking for. But let me know what your favorite spots are to land and why. If you agree with my favorite spots, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. If you did like this video, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. That way I can keep making content and give you more tips. Thanks for watching. Take care.